Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that whenever we post a video, you will be notified about it. Remember to give our videos a thumbs up if you like our content, and be part of the commenters squad by sharing your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, in a bold move, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, has threatened to cut off energy supplies to the United States in response to Trump's tariffs. Yes, you heard that right. Ford is willing to take drastic measures to protect Canada's interests, and he's not afraid to go all the way. Now, we're talking about a potential energy crisis that could affect millions of Americans in states like Michigan, New York, and Wisconsin. Now, Ford's message is clear. Canada will not be bullied and will do whatever it takes to defend our people and our economy. But what's behind this sudden escalation, and what does it mean for the future of Canada-US relations? Now, in this video, we'll take a look into the details of Ford's statement and explore the implications of this dramatic move. From the impact on trade to the potential consequences for global politics, we will break it all down for you. So let's get started and find out what's really going on. Is Ford's threat a clever tactic or a reckless gamble? And what does it say about Canada's place in the world? So stay tuned to find out. Let's take a look at the videos. I will be right back.
We will go to the full extent, depending how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen. But my number one job is to protect Ontarians and Canadians as a whole. This is coming. It's not if it is, it's coming. And it's coming January 20th or 21st. And we need to be prepared. We need to stand as a country. We need to stand united as Canadians and work hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder with our colleagues across the country. And we're ready to do it.
Bravo, Doug Ford. This guy literally just told America exactly what to do. Now, it wasn't the conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre. It wasn't Justin Trudeau. Doug Ford literally stuck it to America. And I got to say, he basically told them that if you come and you put tariffs on Canada, we're going to cut the power to you guys. So initially, I thought to myself, well, what's the big deal? How much power does Canada actually give the U.S.? We are the biggest providers of electricity and oil to the United States. The biggest. 60% of U.S. crude imports and 85% of electricity imports all come from Canada. So if you didn't know, Canada is a powerhouse when it comes to powers. Literally, Doug Ford put it all on the table and said, hey, Donald, look, we're friends, we're allies, we're neighbors. But if push comes to shove, America's going dark. I ain't mad at that.
Doug Ford makes sense. He is the first Canadian politician to speak frankly. I did not have agreeing with Ford on my 2024 bingo card. If you live in the South and you think that Canadian energy doesn't impact you, stay tuned. Maybe you saw the article where Doug Ford is warning that if Donald Trump produces these tariffs, they will retaliate by cutting off energy to the US. And contrary to popular American belief that the only thing Canada exports is maple syrup, which it is a lot, we get over 10 million gallons. Here is a map of the US-Canada energy trade. Big states in red: Montana, North Dakota, Illinois. We're going to come back to this state. Vermont. And I'm a quantitative economist, but this one is very simple. If you lower the supply and the demand stays the same, then your price will increase. This is a real-time energy demand map between states, and here MISO is the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. They pull it from Canada and take it down to the south. There are multiple lines of energy from Canada coming all across the United States. So if the United States imposes these tariffs on Canada, enjoy your high electric bill, because
I told you, Trump uncle, you made a big mistake by giving 25% tariff to Canada. And you know what's going to happen now? Canadian ministers are overwhelmed. They are going crazy like cuckoo. And they said, from January 20, they will cut all the power to United States. You know, 60% of power comes from where? From Canada. Now, Canadians said, whatever Trump says, it's insulting. 51 states of America? No, Trump uncle, you didn't do that right. Your mistake You just say whatever you want to say. But please, Trump uncle, think about without power. And in this cold, everybody get frozen. So please, Trump uncle, think about again. And don't play with the Canadian people. They are nice when they have to be nice. They are bad when they have to be bad. So please, Trump uncle, consider this as Canadian threat.
You know, I think it's hilarious. Canada says if Donald Trump puts tariffs on them, they're going to cut off the power to the U.S. because they only care about the Canadians, the Ontarians. So you're going to shut off the power to the U.S. and put all of your people out of work. That is so funny. You don't understand. That is so freaking funny. We buy the energy and the oil and all from Canada. We purchase it. So you're going to take all that money from your country. All of the people that produce that energy, that produce that oil, you're going to put them out of work. So all of your people are going to be on unemployment. Are you very smart, Canada? Are you very... No, I'm going to tell you, you're a chicken, Canada, because when Donald Trump says something, you're going to bow down and say, yes, sir. That's how it's going to be. I know it. Y'all play chicken with the U.S. all the time, but you have to understand, the United States ain't playing, and Trump ain't the one to play with. Love you, Trump. Keep your head up, America. Things are fixing to get a whole lot better.
Look, every 2 to 3 days, I have to take a break, a hiatus from the news, and I did. I popped the TV on tonight, and this man, Doug Ford, I guess he's the Prime Minister of Canada. Doug Ford ain't playing with Trump. I guess we found out because he said it is a fact that come January 20th or around January 20th, if he sees any tariffs, that he will definitely pop down to New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, and he will cut off all the power, that they will be in the dark. I didn't even know Canada had power to cut our power off. I can't take 2 days off without something happening. Doug Ford ain't playing. He is the Prime Minister of Canada. He said Trump find out and put some tariffs on Canada if he wants to. But New York and Michigan will be the first people to be lights out. OMG. And he said it's a fact that it will happen. It is a fact that it will happen. Let's see if Trump is really going to find out with him. And let's see. I can't get a break. I just want to make TikTok dances.
Yo, is Donald Trump actually? I know the answer to that question is yes. We know that. We've known that for a while, but this whole Canada 51st state thing that he's proposing to try to annex Canada to make it the 51st United State, he's not really thinking this plan through. If Canada became the 51st U.S. state, it would be the most populous state in the country. 2 million more people than California. We would get roughly 74, give or take, electoral votes in the Electoral College. Our 2 senators would be guaranteed to go Democrat every single time. Canada, despite what you hear about Pierre Poilievre, is actually a super progressive country, and 75% of Canadians have said that they would vote for the Democrats consistently. It's always been that. So, if Trump did it, which he won't do, and he would never be able to successfully do it in the eyes of the world stage, but if he was to do it and had great success in doing so, he would literally be making a system where the Republicans would never win again. Just saying.
Michigan, New York, and Wisconsin. I'm a part of the Michigan community, so what we gonna do if Canada cut off the energy? I see a lot of people talking about it more and more, but I really want to ask, like, what we gonna do? Because they not playing. It's too much money on the line. They're not playing. And we at the point where we all standing up for what we want and believe in. Because we not the people from back in the days. So, I get it. But what we gonna do? That's what I want to know. Michigan, New York, and Wisconsin. It get cold around these parts. So what we gonna do? Let me know.
Now, it's no secret, it's definitely no rumor. The leader of Canada's largest province says he's prepared to halt energy exports to the United States, warning that other premiers need to be ready to fight as threats escalate ahead of possible American tariffs. Now, the Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's weighing options to fight back against a 25% levy on all Canadian goods that the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has pledged to implement when he assumes office. Following a meeting with the nation's premiers and the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Ford said other leaders were also drawing up lists of exports that could be halted. But we'll go to the full extent. Depending how far this goes, we'll go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, and over to Wisconsin. He said, I don't want this to happen, but my number one job is to protect Ontarians, and Canadians as a whole. Now, Canada's most populous province is also among the most vulnerable to American tariffs because roughly 85% of its exports, including billions in automotive parts, are sent to a handful of U.S. states. As a result, Ford has emerged as the Canadian politician most vocal about the devastating effects the tariffs would have on hundreds of billions of shared trade. We need to be ready. We need to be ready to fight, he said. Now, this fight is coming 100% on January 20 or January 21st. Ford's threat aims to highlight both the integrated nature of North American economies and also to put pressure on state governors. But it's unclear how much Ford could follow through on his pledge to cut electricity exports, given that premiers do not make international energy policy. Now, Canada supplies roughly 60% of all American oil imports and even more of its electricity imports. In 2022, Canada's revenue from electricity exports to the United States hit a record high of $5.8 billion. Now, Quebec is the largest exporter, with Ontario following second at 13.9 megawatt hours of power sent south. We'll use every tool in our toolbox to fight back, said Ford. We can't sit back and roll over. We just want as a country. And isn't this a shame? Our closest friends and allies. Now, Trump threatened last month to apply the devastating levies of 25% on all goods and services from both Mexico and Canada, vowing to keep them in place until such time as these in particular, fentanyl and or illegal aliens, stop this invasion of our country. Now, last week, Trump seemed to take joy in the panicked response from Canadian officials calling Canada's governor of a potential 51st state. Now, a tariff war between Canada and the US would have major impacts on both countries. In 2023, Canada was far and away the top source of petroleum imports into the US, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Now, the US is the destination for 97% of Canadian crude oil exports. And last month, Donald Trump threatened to tariff key US trading partners China, Canada, and Mexico in a measure he said would crack down on illegal immigration and the D-trade. Since then, the US and Canada have alternated between bluster and diplomacy. Now, the Canadian Central Bank warned this week Trump's tariff threats are a major source of new uncertainty for the country's economy. In the hopes of avoiding the proposed tariffs, Canada is also reportedly assembling plans to use drones and police dogs to patrol the US-Canada border and assuage Trump's concerns about immigrants and Ds. Now, the incoming president has insisted the proposed tariffs will not hurt American consumers, even though companies typically pass on tariff prices to customers. Trump, however, admitted last week he can't guarantee the tariffs won't raise prices for American consumers. Now, you might be wondering what Trump's reaction is to this news. Well, incoming U.S. President Donald Trump is brushing off Ontario's threat to restrict electricity exports in retaliation for sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods as the province floats the idea of effectively barring sales of American alcohol. That's okay if he does that. That's fine. Trump told American network CNBC when asked Thursday about Ford's remarks on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The United States is subsidizing Canada and we shouldn't have to do that, Trump added. And we have a great relationship. I have so many friends in Canada, but we shouldn't have to subsidize a country, he said, claiming this amounts to more than 100 billion US dollars annually in unspecified subsidies. Meanwhile, an official in the Ford government says it's considering restricting the Liquor Control Board of Ontario from buying American-made alcohol. The province says the Crown Agency is the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. Now, the province also says it could restrict exports of Canadian critical minerals required for electric vehicle batteries and bar American companies from provincial procurement. Ford doubled down Thursday on the idea of cutting off energy exports. The province says that in 2013, Ontario exported enough energy to power 1.5 million homes in those 3 states. We have finally come to the end of the video, but what do you, our viewers, have to say? Share your thoughts, your views as well, and what you think about this in the comment section, and let's have a conversation there. Thank you for always watching, and see you in our next video as we bring you another interesting video.